the eyes of the world are focused, wherever history is in the making, she is there, organising events, guiding those new to the limelight, bringing openness to those who shape the destinies of the planet. In the corridors of power, behind closed doors, she is the one the leaders follow, jetting around the world to bring words of comfort to the bewildered. Ever ready to share herself with her public, she'll even give up her Sundays to bring colour to our lives. Interrupting her busy schedule to be with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Dame Edna Everage.
Aren't I looking particularly gorgeous tonight? And no prizes for guessing what orifice this little frock of mine is dedicated to. Yes, this very innovative costume of mine is a celebration of the labial zone. It is. And if there's anyone in this audience who comes over a little bit strangely tonight, or, you know, hyperventilates, or faints, or does anything awful like that, I'll give you the frock of life. I will. I'll give you frock-to-mouth resuscitation. Darlings, statistics, which I know a little bit about, not much, but a little. Statistics have proved that the chances of any of you people in the studio or out there watching this glorious top-rating show, the chances of any of you meeting a celebrity or even a mini celebrity are, wait for it, 0. Absolutely nil. Zilch, I'm afraid. I'm terribly sorry, but that's true. I mean, let's face it, you could be a face in the crowd at a Madonna concert or in the front row of a little Stevie Wonder recital. You could have seen them. But more to the point, did they see you? Very unlikely, particularly in little Stevie's case, I'm afraid. You might have glimpsed gorgeous little Dennis Norden. You might have glimpsed him in a remote corner of a Hampstead food hall. You might have thought you saw little Gary Glitter being bundled into a VIP minicab by his minders at Luton Airport. You might even think you spotted that wonderful Shakespearean actor Oliver Reed scuffling with a Portuguese sales executive in a Clacton off-licence at closing. You might have seen all of them, but they didn't see you. I'm terribly sorry, but they didn't. You see, darlings, my life is so different. My life is a long list of assignations with overstimulating people. It is. I meet celebrities all the time, day and night. And tonight is going to be no exception. What a wonderful lineup of glitterazzi we've got. We've got Jerry Hall, the consort of the crooner Mick Jagger. She's a person in her own right, or so I'm told. And after a very, very sticky start last time and wonderfully recovered is my darling old buddy, Chuck Heston, the Lord of the Silver Screen. And he's also got a Lord of the Realm, a belted Earl and a belted raincoat, Patrick Lichfield. What a lovely, exciting, stimulating lineup we have. And I'm going to let you into a secret, possums. At night, I pray. I get on my knees and I pray to a power greater than myself. I pray that I might meet a dull, uncreative, uninteresting non-entity. And, you know, when I slip between the designer sheets, my prayer is answered in the person of Madge Allsop, my old bridesmaid. Hello, Madge. Hello, darling. You know, Have you done anything interesting today, Madge, except swallow a few Valium and a glass of water? I doubt it. This woman is a chrysalis from which a beautiful butterfly has yet to emerge. Madge and I had our photographs taken, or more to the point, I did recently. And when people like me have our snaps taken, we don't have to go down to an underground station, get into a smelly booth, fiddle with a little curtain, and wait for a sticky little strip to extrude itself onto the platform. No. My case is different, as this wonderful little historical film made only the other day will show my visit to the photographer. Yoo-hoo!
Hello, how are you?
Hello, Your Grace. It's lovely to see you, Patrick. This is my bridesmaid, Madge. Don't curtsy, Madge, not necessary. Put the frocks there. Look, you're creasing that beautiful green dress. Oh, look at her in that plastic raincoat. She looks like Danish bacon, doesn't she? With you, Patrick.
What's that?
Lichfield. I was not in your book of the world's most beautiful women.
Oh, that was a bit remiss of me, but I promise I'll put you in the second one, the second most beautiful woman.
Oh, hold you to that, you wicked old thing.
Good.
Am I looking lovely this
You're looking
morning?
wonderful. Let's go and do some pictures of you.
I had my beauty sleep last night. I'm looking forward to this. Come on, Madge.
Would you like to sit down there, Dame Edna? That's just...
Please, Patrick, Edna.
Oh, thank you so much. Before me.
Must she be in this shot,
She's just going
Patrick?
to be on the edge.
Oh,
Now, you
Madge,
bring
please.
yourself forward a bit.
You can crop her out, I hope.
Well, we might. And can I swing you there?
You can
Could you
swing me anyway you like.
Could you sit back a bit, do you think? On the stool? Because I want
Putty
you...
in your hands.
No, you just stay there. I'm going to come round and have a look at you from this side. Here we go. I just want to turn that, that's it. And face round to me and into the camera.
Do you need Vaseline on the lens for me? A little smear of Nivea.
Certainly. That's wonderful. Hold on. It's busy.
What sort of mood do you want, Patrick?
Well, you're doing so beautifully. I think it's wonderful. It's just, I just want like, a warm, soft, welcoming human being.
And I'm just thinking of lovely things.
Just lean a bit more into your arm. That's lovely. That's wonderful. And the nose straight. Oh, one more roll.
The
one more
nose.
roll. The nose is fine. If you can just...
I'm not too shiny.
No, I don't think so. I think you look absolutely terrific. And I like the accessories.
Yes, they're simple ones.
Yes,
the
they're
real ones are in the bank.
Just the old-fashioned featurettes.
It is. I'd like to discourage terrorism.
Can I ask you to perhaps put a hand up near there, both of them? Yes, that's
like that.
And perhaps hold the wrist with one hand. There, you have it.
That feels
Don't,
lovely.
that's terrific. One more roll.
That's
Good,
enough,
if you feel
please.
better. Just
One
try.
more roll. What an evocative phrase that is. And on your lips,
Yeah.
I have little doubt.
You ready?
Lovely. I'm ready.
Yes, here we go. Keep going.
You play music? Oh, God. I'm feeling so abandoned.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Terrific.
Oh, I felt that was so exciting.
Well, that was wonderful. We'll treasure those pictures. That was sweet of you.
Beautiful, and I love being probed by your lens. Oh, dear, wasn't that fascinating footage? It really was a little glimpse into the Lichfield laboratory if ever there was one. And now, back from the chemist with my blurry little snaps. You're always a bit blurry when you come back from the chemist, Madge. Is my favourite lensman. A big round of applause for Patrick Lichfield. My celebrity chair.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see this one of my little studies. That's beautiful.
Caught in full flight, I think. Then.
Lovely. Can the camera see that? Isn't it beautiful? I don't know where I'll put it. I never have snaps of myself around, but you look after it, will you, Madge, darling? Yes, she'll probably pop it in her bedroom. I'm very... Oh, a badge, please, darling. I have little badges with people's names, just in case I forget them. Thank you. There we are. There we are, darling. Now, it's beautiful. We couldn't put the Earl of Lichfield on it. There wasn't room.
It's a bit long, isn't it?
Oh, isn't this fun? It's beautiful chatting away with you. Now, isn't he romantic and handsome? When we were having our little photo session, I felt so relaxed and laid back, it's not true. I did. You have this gift of putting people at their ease.
Well, very special people like yourself, I find, have a certain, je ne sais quoi.
Oh, flattery's going to get you everywhere, darling. Of course, you have, and I'm not going to dwell on this, but you are, well, you're sort of royalty yourself in a spooky little way. You know, if thousands of members, oh, heaven forbid, but if whole, you know, there was a sort of awful tragedy, you know, you could be the king.
No way.
No, I wouldn't be far behind you either. I'm Australian royalty, as you know.
I know.
I am. When the Queen says we, she means us. Did you know? Now, it is a pretty well open secret that you do very high-class, superior nude photography.
Well, I've given it up for the time being, actually. I used to do it.
You used to do it. I'm sorry, we must have the record straight.
Yes,
this is
right,
important.
yes.
This is important because in centuries to come, you know, people in the future will look at this interview and they'll know all about us from this, so we've got to get it right, haven't we?
Of course we have, yes.
So you used to...
I used to, yes. I won't say I won't again, but at the moment...
No, I was a little bit nervous for fear that you'd ask me to take my clothes off.
Well, there could be a casting session in February for...
Oh, I think I'm a bit of an old fowl for that. I'd hate to be a centrefold anyway, I would.
Well, we could consider you, but
those little staples would hurt, wouldn't they? When you did, in the bad old days, when you did take those glorious things, and they were a celebration, weren't there, of youth and beauty? Let's face it.
That's a nice way of describing it.
There's nothing yucky about them, not in my book, anyway.
No.
When you did, what did you look for in a naked woman?
That's quite a silly question.
Yes, it sounded a bit silly when it came out. However, now, my darling, I'm looking at you, and of course I'm a married woman, and you are a bachelor.
That's
and I hope you're behaving yourself. I take a bit of a maternal interest in people I like. I do.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for your concern.
You're looking after yourself, are you?
Yes,
are
yes.
you looking after yourself?
Yes.
You're eating properly?
Yes. 4 meals a day, always start with a kipper.
A kipper? So you start with something in your tummy.
That's right, yes.
And you launch yourself onto your very busy day.
That's right.
And you have your lunch. And what about the ciggies, darling?
I've put too many of the ciggies, yes.
Well, you live on your nerves.
Well, it's a terrible... It's a terrible life, you know. It's non-stop.
The bevy, darling, occasionally?
Not too much.
No, there's a little...
Especially not here.
You don't need anything to put you at your ease with me. But don't you feel it, viewers? Don't you feel this lovely little thing we've got going? It's marvellous, I think, marvellous. I'd like to know this. Have you got anyone to help you? I mean...
Well, I'm very lucky. Yes, I live in a very large house in the country, and we do still have a very nice and wonderful staff. Not as big as when I was a child, because...
It was a privileged childhood you had.
Well, a little bit. I mean, I suppose it was, but of course the war was on, and so it was not as privileged as all that.
Oh,
but,
no, I'm not pleased. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, darling, for heaven's sake. But it was. You had, butlers and this, that and the other. Looked after, too.
Yes, and of course, the most wonderful person of all was a nanny. I mean, nannies were sensational because I mean, I found that most people seem to have nannies when they're sort of 0 to 11. And I'm now getting to the stage where I really need nannies more and more. I have a very good nanny. She's supposed to look after my children, but she mostly looks after me.
Oh, darling. We didn't really. In Australia, we had parents. I've loved having a little chat with you. And we'll be talking, of course, again with my guests. I don't desert you when my other guests are on. But you've given me the royal treatment, and with that I'm very, very grateful. You've made me feel like a lady, which is some achievement, isn't it? For Patrick Lichfield. Beautiful. And now, darlings, I want to introduce a gorgeous creature, someone who you have probably already photographed and will photograph again. She's leggy, she's lovely, she looks after one of our greatest entertainers, Mick Jagger. She's a consummate professional. Let me hear your applause for Jerry Hall. You know Patrick, His Grace, yes. Jerry Hall. There we are. Lovely.
Oh, dear.
Well, I'm livid, Jerry. I really am, darling. I thought this frock of mine was a one-off. Heads are going to roll at London Weekend over this. Someone's resignation.
I bought mine in Beverly Hills, and they told me it was a young, new Australian designer.
What was his name?
Mr. Kenneth.
Mr. Kenneth. That's my son. Kenneth Everage. Isn't that exciting? He's selling frocks on Rodeo Drive now.
He told me that this was an original, made just for me.
Just look at the label. Excuse me. Stop the cameras for this. No, it's a Taiwanese rip-off, this dress. It is. I'll just give you a little badge, Jerry. Quick, the badge, Madge, the badge. You've got much to do, just do it. Thank you, Jerry. There you are, darling. Oh, well, anyway, you're here now, and yes. I suppose we look like twins, don't we? Snap. Well, you've always been a follower of fashion, haven't you?
Yes.
You have. What are your favourite kinds of clothes?
Well, one of my favourite designers is Anthony Price, and he makes very short, skin-tight, low-cut, you know. I like very simple clothes.
Well, that's very... So what could be more simple than the little outfit of my son's?
And one of the things that I always have trouble finding is big shoes, because I have big feet. Where do you get your shoes here?
Oh, well, mine are custom-made, darling. They are. I've got some little unfrocked nuns who make my shoes for me as a matter of fact. They do. I've got a difficult foot. I've got a narrow foot with a very high instep.
I know.
But these are pretty shoes. I notice you've copied me slavishly. It's lovely to be a role model. How do you keep so thin and gorgeous, Jerry?
Well, I think dieting is really bad for you because I think it makes you fat. And I think that jumping around is bad for girls. I think it's really bad. But what I do is I try to have a really good time. And I like to, you know, do fun things, you know. Smoke, drink champagne, talk on the phone, mess around, things like that.
You like having long telephone conversations?
Yeah.
International ones, When you come back to my luxury penthouse after the show, I'm not going to let you near my instrument. Jerry, you've had a very, very long and successful engagement, darling. And 2 gorgeous kiddies,
Yes.
which is beautiful. Do you think you'll ever tie the knot, or is that not important?
Well, you know, we don't want to rush into anything. It's such a serious step. And,
It is.
you know, one of the nice things about not being married is that you don't have to fake headaches.
Pretty smart little reply, Jerry.
You must remember how it was before the change.
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't even feel it. I had a very, very easy passage through the menopause. I did. Pretty uneventful. I think it's all very much in your attitude. I think you're saying a lot of wise things there. But you've always gone for Englishmen. You've got a very attractive one
looks
sitting
like
there,
it.
too, by the way. The body language is telling me something. Oh, Your Highness. His legs are tied in a reef knot, However, you love Englishmen. What is it about Englishmen, Jerry?
Well, let's see. I think,
It's a family program.
I mean, you're asking me this in front of a lot of people.
No, please, look, think of me as someone you can really just let it all hang out with.
Yes. Well, it's probably, you know, their dirty minds, probably. You know, I don't know. I think that's one of the secrets to staying young is having a dirty mind.
Oh. It hasn't worked with Madge Allsop. She may well be the exception that proves the rule. I love your name, though. You know, it's funny. You're an American with a German name.
You spelled it right. You spelled it right.
Oh, good. I had to abbreviate His Grace's, but when you have a photo session, look, supposing you're taking Jerry's photograph, and it goes on a bit sometimes. You've got to wear a number of different dresses. How do you sort of keep animated? I've seen a lot of your photographs. They're beautiful. What do you think
thank
about?
Well, if they want me to look happy, I think about how much money I'm making. And if they want a special look, I think about sex. Again.
Well, be simpler than that.
I try not to think about the shopping, you know, the groceries or anything like that.
Well, when he was taking my picture, I would have done the same, but my memory doesn't go back there.
You were wonderful.
You've got a very high IQ, Jerry. I happen to know that.
Well, I think that came from my mother. She says that whenever people interview her about me.
I think all mothers think that. What are your favourite pursuits?
Well, one of my favorite hobbies is shopping. And it's also very good exercise, you know, all that sort of trying on things.
Slipping into frocks is very good exercise.
It is, yeah.
And slipping out of them, for that matter. Let's hear it for my guest, Jerry Hall. Beautiful, Jerry. So easy, so lovely. Well, Jerry's been talking about history in the making, and my next guest is a part of cinema history. He's certainly a part of the spooky history of this show, because sometimes I think we might have even been jinxed on this program. I felt there's been an orchestrated attempt to undermine some of my beautiful shows, but the paramedics have said that my next guest is fit and well. So after this break, it'll be Charlton Heston! Look at Jerry, Patrick. Goodness me, you said you were going into the ladies' room to powder your nose. You slipped into that spunky number. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Is it a bit abrasive on those lovely limbs of yours?
Very comfy.
I suppose if you reverse it, it'd be a depilatory, wouldn't it, darling? Anyway, it's gorgeous. Where'd you get it?
George Hamilton gave it to me, and he wore it in the life of Hank Williams.
I don't remember that scene. And now, after that little break and my little chat with you, my next guest, he's a man that I could break all 10 commandments for. He could park his chariot in my driveway. He's a Jason Colby look-alike, if ever there was one. Please, your ovation for distinguished Charlton Heston!
Made it all the way down without falling this week.
You did. A bit of luck. Wasn't it awful last time? I felt so ashamed.
That's worse than anything that ever happened to me in the 10 Commandments.
No, darling. Look, by the way, Patrick Lichfield, Chuck Heston, and little Jerry Hall. My darling old friend Chuck, the badge Madge, the badge. Nothing else to do. Not that I'm going to forget your name in a hurry, my darling. Are you feeling a lot better after that little tumble?
Well, considering, you know, that was really an awful thing to go through. Do you have things like that happen to your guests often?
Fortunately, well, only every time. The same sort of thing. Perhaps we should have an action replay. Oh, Chuck, darling, what's the matter with you?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm very embarrassed. I was playing tennis and I slipped. It's just a bad sprain. It's nothing. I've got a cast
Sorry,
on it.
my darling. I thought you were giving an Ironside impression.
I'll be right there.
No, don't move, please, please. Sister Bedgegood, we've got a trained nurse here, Chuck. No, up you go, and please help Mr. Heston, will you, sister? Now, gently, gently. Take it very gently. The stairs are very, very... You know, Chuck... Although we all know you and admire you and adore you, you are a bit of an enigma, a little bit of a recluse.
Well, I like to have what private life I can, yeah.
It's terrifically important. But tonight, that enigma, I'm afraid, is going to be absolutely shattered. I want to strip you naked. I do. Metaphorically speaking, I hasten to say. Look at the body language there, Possum. No, darling, but my spies inform me, and we're going back a bit now, that way back before you were a megastar, there was a little moment when you used to take off your clothes for money.
Who told you that?
I found out. I've got ways of finding these things out.
You mean, when you say nude, you mean nude?
Well, I mean, yes, birthday suit.
Well, yes. When I was first starting in New York, trying to get my first part on the stage, why, I worked quite often posing nude for art students at the Art Students League.
That's
it's an honest way to
fascinating.
make a living, isn't it?
Of course it is.
I mean, look at those girls you photographed.
I know. Well, that would have looked very different from you, Chuck, I think.
I hope so.
Oh, wish I'd been a young art student in New York.
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't know if that's still the case, but then the men didn't have to be absolutely nude, if you follow me.
Oh, you were wearing a little, what, a G-spot?
Well, actually, my wife made me a little gray velour G-string, and it was sort of a little smaller than a jockstrap, but it was...
Grey velour, was it?
Grey velour, yes.
Well,
I still have it.
have you? Perhaps I could see it one day. But what a practical colour, Chuck. Grey, don't you think? It'd save you having to rub it through, wouldn't it?
Well,
you wouldn't want to wear it damp, would you? Not in the winter.
No.
Funny enough, we were talking to Jerry about my son, Kenneth. And he's a very talented Australian dress designer and choreographer and filmmaker, all those sorts of things. And he sent off for a little item, I think. One of the magazines he reads, I can't remember what it was, Cruise magazine, I think. A naval magazine that he sent. He sent off, I think it was a funny little name it had. It was called a posing pouch. It was a crutchless posing pouch. I couldn't believe it. It arrived in plain wrappers for some reason. And all it was some bits of elastic and a curtain ring. Could you
This isn't the kind of thing I was talking about.
No, but he could get a terrible... I said, you're not wearing that, you'll get a cold. But back to your marvellous career, Chuck. I loved it when you parted the Red Sea. Now, a lot of people must have asked you this, but... You're looking at my Red Sea now. But you won't be parting that possibly. No, this is a family show. I'm sorry. How did you do it? How did you do it?
I had this stick, big stick.
A big stick?
Mm-hmm. Just hold it up.
I'm glad you did that for the darling. It was as simple as that,
Yes,
wasn't it?
I could do it on your swimming pool.
Oh. I thought it was going to be much more technical than that. So, you've performed real miracles. I love this man as Moses. Do you remember him as Moses? I adored that when you brought the tablets down, too. Madge loved that film, anything with tablets in it. However, you must be getting a little tired of the Ben-Hur stories, you know, but that was one of your great roles. The original film, of course, with Raymond Navarro, and then the big one was you. And I don't want to go into it because you must be sick of questions about it, so I'm not going to ask you any questions about Ben-Hur, except... How did you win that race?
Well, it was fixed, of course.
My son, Kenny, is very, very envious that I'm talking to you tonight,
Is he
Chuck.
one of my fans?
No, he's never heard of you. Well, he has. I'm teasing. But he loves your leading ladies. My son, Kenny, Pat, is secretary of the Arthur Gardner Society in Australia, the Barbara Stanwyck Society, and the Marlene Dietrich Society. So to know that I'm talking to you who've had these and many other beautiful leading ladies thrills him to bits. So I'm going to give him the video. But, Marlene, what was that like?
Oh, Dietrich was one of the great stars, one of the great beauties of all time. And when I worked with her, with Orson Welles, it was a very exciting experience. She was something very special.
And Barbara Stanwyck.
Oh, Barbara Stanwyck is a great pro and a great broad. Now, that's kind of an unfashionable label these days, but you ask her. Missy Stanwyck is a great broad.
When your colleagues in Hollywood quiz you about being on my show, could you imagine the phone will be ringing when you get back to your beautiful mansion? I'll be saying, what was she like? Did you bring the autographed snaps? And, what will you say? What will you say about me?
I'll say you're a great broad.
The Colbys is the show I particularly like because it's got a bit of class to it. Why do you think that is, Jack? What is it makes it a little bit different?
Well, it has a significant difference from Dynasty, with which it has many characteristics in common. They're both about rich families and their problems and their affairs and difficulties. But I think the simplest difference is that on the Colbys we sweat. Nobody ever sweats on Dynasty.
It's true.
Watch. No matter what kind of... If you've been running in from a rainstorm or been in an accident or something, never sweat on Dynasty. We set that rule very early on Colbys. I said, look, people sweat. Even rich people sweat.
But you did sweat on it, I noticed. We had to keep a box of Kleenex on top of the television, didn't we? My husband, Norm, always has a little glisten on the side of his head, too. He sweats a bit, my husband. In fact, we had to put a rubber sheet under him many, many years ago. We did. You could hear him trickling all night. We all talk about sweat. Do you like a little perspiration in a man, do you, Jerry?
Well, I like people to have strong smells, yeah.
Well, Mick comes on stage.
Jagger sweats.
Certainly does. Enough said, I think, Chuck. Well, a lot of actors sometimes look towards a political career. Not too seriously always, but... You know, what if there were to be a vacancy at the White House? Come to think of it, there is a bit of a vacancy. No. If there were...
I've already been president of the United States 3 times.
Under what circs, darling?
I played Andrew Jackson twice and Thomas Jefferson and the voice of Franklin Roosevelt. So, you know, I've really done it, haven't I?
You've done it. Would it be an anticlimax, do you think, there in the Oval Office?
Well, you prefer to know how those scripts come out, besides.
Well, I know that whatever you do is going to meet with the approval of the millions of people who adore your work and have been privileged, through me, to meet the real Chuck Heston tonight. Let's hear it for Charlton Heston. Was that an interview or was that an interview?
Spooky.
Spooky. Yes, it's... It's the new word. And now, my next item is usually me. It's me singing a gorgeous song, because I'm a trained singer, Chuck.
Oh, I know that.
I've divined a little talent in my beautiful guest, Jerry Hall, tonight. She's never sung in public before, have you, Jerry?
No.
But I've had a little maternal chat with her in the powder room. And she's agreed to sing us a lovely ethnic song, accompanied by Laurie Holloway and the Hollow Tones. Let's hear it for my songstress, Jerry Hall. Good luck, Jerry.
Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, giving all your love to just one man. You'll have bad times a man.